From Sigma Woman, this is the Business for Aligned Women podcast. I'm your host, Clara McKay, your aligned business coach and advocate for all things showing up for your vision. This is a no BS space for brave-hearted women who are actually craving change. I'm dedicated to bringing women's visions into reality, equipping women with all they need to build an abundant future, and shutting down all of the ways that you keep yourself small. Here, we're all about a women-centered approach, non-negotiable value alignment, and making bank without compromising your well-being. Each week, you're already one step closer to your most aligned and abundant future. Welcome to this week's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about how to work out what you should be focusing on in your business. This is such a massive topic, and I know that it's often the thing that is making you feel the most overwhelmed and the most confused. And most of us are starting to get quite overwhelmed with the end of year pressure. We might have a lot of social commitments and familial commitments and things like that coming up, which is just shortening the rest of time left that we have this year in our business. We do have a really supportive episode coming up in December with Bianca Winter-Malari, who is a somatic and trauma-informed therapist. And she is going to be talking about tips and ways to handle overwhelm towards the end of the year. So hopefully that can be really supportive of you. But one thing that I wanted to just flag with you that I have available right now for free is I have a new checklist, which is an optimize your Instagram for sales checklist. There are so many things that I see businesses doing on a daily basis on their Instagram, which is just blocking sales from coming through. There's a lot of different, like just little nitty gritty formatting, kind of admin things that we need to do in order to get that Instagram to be operating in the best possible way. Especially if you are someone who only markets on Instagram, please go and download this free checklist. Please work through it. I think there's about 25 different points that you can just slowly go through and slowly start to action and know that you have all the bases covered on your Instagram and it's set up optimally for sales. Something that I'm also offering a really limited time only, very limited spaces, and currently for a more discounted price is my direct audit. This is where I spend a little bit of time looking at every single piece of your online presence. So all of your social medias, all of your sales page, your website, anything like that. And I record a personalized custom video telling you what you should be changing, fixing, adding, removing in order to increase your profitability. So if you are someone who is wanting to grow their business more or wanting to make more sales before the end of the year, or maybe you just want to have things set up really well for the start of next year, this is for you. It is under $100. It's really low effort from you. You fill out a form and then within 7 business days, you're going to get sent a video and you can work through that in your own time. It's such a beautiful offer. It's only available for a limited time only. So jump on that. All links are in the show notes. We're almost at the end of the year, and I know that that can feel really overwhelming, but it's so important in your business to be planning ahead and thinking long term, especially if you're someone who struggled with consistency up until now. If you feel like you drop the ball a lot, you struggle to be consistent, you struggle to show up ongoing in your business, you need longer term planning. Let me help you. Let's sit down together and map out your entire 2025 so that you can start next year ahead of the game, not feeling like you're catching up, not feeling like you're on the back foot. I have an incredibly limited number of planning sessions left for this year. You can jump in the show notes, book in a one-to-one planning call with me, and you will get a 12-month plan specific to your business with all of your launches and everything that you're focusing on mapped out so that you can create a spacious, gentle, nourishing, and free way of being in your business next year. I know that working out what to focus on in your business is such a struggle that most of us actually avoid working it out at all. And we just do what we know we have to do in a rote way, in an autopilot way. We just go into that every day. I know I've said it before, but if your business isn't growing or if you're really struggling in your business, it's generally because you're continuing to do the same thing, but expecting a different outcome. That definition of insanity, but a lot of us really do it in our business. And we've kind of put the blinders on to the reality of that. So rather than just focusing on the things that you know how to do, it's really important that you open yourself up to doing things differently, pivoting, looking at what you have been doing, what has been working and what hasn't. If you want a system for that, I do have my monthly business planner, which helps you catch all of those things. And that's a beautiful tool to be using so that you're not having to remember the information that you worked out last month and what you need to be changing and focusing on. But the reality is, doesn't matter what business you have, there are so many things that you could try to do to grow your business today. There are millions of ways to grow a business, develop a business, increase sales. There's literally millions of ways. So while you're on your own and you're not working with a coach, what are some ways or what are some things that you can do to actually work this out and what you should be focusing on? That first step is what's not working, stop doing it. What is working, double down on that. And the other thing is to watch where you are doing things that are really high energy, but really low return. This is very common and it creates a feeling of exhaustion. And also, you feel like you're kind of doing everything and you don't have any more energy left, but you're not really getting anything out of it. A way to look at this could be to audit your monthly tasks and be like, what out of these things that I do every week and every month actually give me something? And if there's things that never give you anything, you might need to stop doing it, outsource it, or change the way you are doing it. Me as a business coach, I can go in and spend 10 minutes, less than that, honestly, within less than 30 seconds. I can look at your Instagram, your website, and see the gaps and the problems immediately. It's really obvious to someone who is a business expert to be able to say, this is what you need to be focusing on right now. And that's one of the most important things about having a coach because there are so many things that you could focus on. Having someone just direct you and go, this is going to be high return. So focus on this for a while is really, really helpful. And that is something that I do in the direct audit. And it's why I created the audit so that we get rid of this feeling of just having so many things on the plate and just concentrate on one thing at a time. This is a really beautiful way to access direct, customized business advice from an expert who has your best interests at heart so that you can tune everything up for the end of the year, the start of next year, and begin next year in the best possible way rather than feeling like you're beginning it on the back foot. So we've talked about making sure that you're not just doing things rote, you're doing things that you know are actually working, not continuing to give high energy to things that have low return. And a last little point that I think would be really beneficial for you, which sounds so simple and so basic and kind of dumb, is choosing one thing that you're going to build or focus on in your business, having that as a pure, solid intention, and actually following through on that until it's complete. So if you go, it's time for me to have a website. It's time for me to rebrand. It's time for me to build this course. I want to have a sales funnel. I want to reset my Instagram strategy. Whatever it is, just choose one thing and stick with it until it's complete. And I know that that sounds so dumb and so silly and so basic, but I also know that a lot of my audience are many gens, they're multi passionates, they're highly creative, they're easily distracted, they have a lot of great ideas. And it's when we're jumping around and half doing things that we can start to feel really overwhelmed and really lacking focus. And then we start questioning, like, oh my God, what am I even doing? I don't even know what I should be thinking about. I don't even know where my energy should be going. So, just for the end of this year, I think we have a month or so left when this episode comes out. Choose one thing today that is going to move the needle. So, it's not something that you've done before that hasn't had any return. It's probably something new. And you are going to commit the rest of this year to fully fleshing that out and completing it without getting distracted. If you're like, that sounds great, I have no effing clue what that one thing should be, that's the sign that you need to jump into the direct audit. If you can't tell, getting to share this time with you is something that I find truly sacred. I know that you're busy, but if you've taken anything away from our time spent together today, could you extend the love and share this episode with a friend, your community, or on your socials? Tag me so that I can see it and I can share it too. Or when you have a spare moment, leave the podcast for review. These things cost you nothing and will mean so much to me. Let's get this resource into the hands of more women visionaries and help us collectively move towards our most aligned way of being and doing business together.